Hello everybody, this is Burgback coming to you with game number 2 between Stephano spawning as the pink Zerg in the bottom right corner of the map, and his opponent of course is WhiteRa spawning as the red Protoss in the upper left hand corner of the map. This is Shakuras Plateau, MLG version of course, so they will be spawning across from each other instead of right next to each other, which is a great thing. Of course, if you were watching BlizzCon and things like that, there was a lot of controversy over that. Now Blizzard has now changed that on the ladder where you will be spawning cross instead of next to your neighbor. But as we saw in game number 1, we'll see how this goes for WhiteRa. As we see his building down here, probably going for a fast expand like he did in game number 1. WhiteRa, of course, coming out on top on that game, and Stephano just not being able to counter WhiteRa's Stalkers after he transitioned out of Colossi into just straight Stalker, Immortal going after the ground army. And Stephano, of course, sunk a lot of money into Corruptors to try and make sure that there wouldn't be any kind of Colossi battle going on. But again, and WhiteRa taking advantage of that and just, making Stephano waste that money, getting rid of those, and not being able to do a whole lot because there was no air for Stephano to attack with those. WhiteRa just coming in, knows where he's at, of course. Not pretty hard to know that. And stealing some minerals while he's at it. Really well-mannered there by WhiteRa. Now it's starting to attack one of the drones, deciding to say, hey, you know what, I'm here. Come and get me. Spawning pool down. Halfway down, as it looks like we are getting ready to do something, and a pylon coming down for WhiteRa now. Gonna try and slow down as much as he can. Stephano just expanding. So, this is really the bane of, the Zerg player. Having something here blocking that expand. Not being able to do anything. And of course, this whole time, this drone almost dying as well from that. So yeah, Stephano probably not very happy about this, wanting to get that money in and delaying it by at least a minute or a couple minutes, just trying to get in and do what he can. Of course, new drone coming into play. This pro, of course, at full health, full shields. As these Zerglings start to come in, it's not going to be looking good for WhiteRa anymore. He decides to get out of there with one Zergling starting to do up. And WhiteRa, of course, getting a little bit of advantage here. Able to get his Nexus up before Stephano's able to get his expand up. And of course, Stephano very slowly, very sheepishly starting to go into WhiteRa's base. We have that Cybernetics core coming down. We don't have a Forge down at all. So it's a little bit of a different play here from WhiteRa. Second gateway now coming down. That Zealot now starting to chase after Stephano's Zergling. Not sure if we're going to be seeing any kind of real good play from this. Of course, that Zergling is starting to run away. Metabolic boost about halfway through now. More Zerglings starting to come in here. Of course, these two Zealots could do a lot of damage to these Zerglings. Zerglings not having a lot of armor. They are very light, of course, and so are the Zealots. But these Zealots can do a lot of damage to probes. The Queen's starting to come up, getting ready to do some kind of damage. And more Zerglings now. This is a little bit more in Stephano's side as we go there. And this Queen off the creep, just so slow, just sending those claws out to attack the Zealots. And you're not seeing me right now, but I am actually doing the Queen claw move, pretending to be the Queen. And again, these guys getting surrounded now. The Zerglings doing their job and are going to take out those Zealots. Stalkers, of course, now out on the way. We have Cybernetics core just bringing in the Warp Gate technology. Pretty standard for WhiteRa here. And I'm interested to see if we're going to see the Warp Prism move that we saw in game number 1. Of course, the Warp Prism move not doing very well. The Queen's just kind of surrounding it and being able to take it out right away. He lost 4 Zealots, I think, in that match. That was a big loss for WhiteRa in the beginning, just losing 400 minerals plus the price of the Warp Prism. That wasn't a very good sign. And Stephano just coming in with that Overlord, starting to scout out. Of course, this Stalker will be able to take that Zealot out. I'm not exactly sure. Alright, Zealot. That Overlord out. Oh, it gets out with 10 HP. Very good. As Stephano starting to bring up his second expand. He really wants to catch up to WhiteRa in you know, resources, because he was, of course, slowed down from this hatchery. And Stephano doing a really good job here. A little bit, you know, I mean, look at this. He is ahead on the minerals now. He's just slightly behind on harvest count. But of course, he's a couple minutes behind WhiteRa of developing anything. But this hatchery here will definitely solve that for him and be able to bring back some minerals. And Stephano, of course, going in the middle of the map, being able to kind of just get some control here. We don't see the creep spread that we saw in game number 1, but of course that will develop as he gets to go on. As you know, we do have some more drones starting to come out. He's going to start droning, and again up here, just blocking everything off. Interesting play there with the force fields. Going to try and just stop those Zerglings a little bit. Warp Prism is being made, as we can see here. Of course, this whole ramp is blocked off, so no way to for those Zerglings to really get in, which is interesting that he would block off like that. But you know, he's getting ready. I think he'll probably pick up these sentries. We'll see how it goes, but of course, this Lone Stalker doing a really good job of defending. And yeah, there we go, picking up that was an interesting move. Picking up those sentries, we'll probably see him go around. Probably start out by attacking this expand if he sees it. Of course, I don't think. Let's see. Has he seen that? He does not know about that expansion. So he is not sure about it, but I'm sure he will be searching that expansion just to make sure. We have him coming around here. I'm going to keep an eye on that. Probably keep that tabbed up here. And of course, I think Stephano might have seen that Warp Prism coming out. He is coming around here to the front, dropping off those and bringing in some Zealots, bringing in a bunch of Zealots. 4 Zealots and 2 Stalkers in with that, and deciding to bring in a Zealot, lifts it up, of course, just to get it down, and trying to block that ramp off as much as he can. That Spine Crawler just come up here, and getting ready to do some defensive moves here. And it looks like WhiteRa is not going to be able to do what he wants here. A little bit of harass, but it looks like Stephano definitely in on it. Of course, with this creep down here, he's able to see that Warp Prism moving. And all the while, Stephano definitely going in. He's just a little bit ahead of the worker count there as he goes in, but Stephano just building up more and more units, as we can see here, and he is going for the upgrades on his units, as WhiteRa just trying to figure out a great spot to do some damage. And here we go, Queen again, as WhiteRa just kind of hiding out in the corner. Not doing a whole lot, just kind of hiding out. It would almost be beneficial maybe for him to keep this here and do some kind of frontal attack. You know, that's his own choice, but it looks like he's going to try and do an attack on this. But of course, he does have roaches up here to defend, and I think, yeah, he does see that coming by, and he's going up to this expand here. And Stephano, of course, definitely in on that, but bringing down the force field. The sentry's doing a really good job of force fielding, and looks like bringing out the drones though to do some attacking. As we can see, the health on those sentries is not very well. That Zealot just sent to die. As Stephano going for a third expand, and they're going to bring down these sentries, probably do a little bit of attack, but of course Stephano does see that and decides to come up and guard that, as these sentries again being lifted up. So all the while, Stephano at 121, WhiteRa at 107. Pretty even right now. We do have some Colossi out on the field, a Spire coming out for Stephano. As I've been following that, they have been bulking up. The extended thermal lands getting ready to come up and taking out that warp gate, going to start getting ready to build up. As we see the level 1 start to come out from WhiteRa as well. Again, though, we see Stephano 140 supply starting to really get ahead of WhiteRa. He can max out his army if he wants to. He's at 200 supply cap. And again, bringing out the Warp Prism to do a little bit of damage. But these units here definitely there to defend. Again, trying to keep Stephano off kilter here. We do have mutas now coming out from Stephano. And this observer doing a really good job of just seeing what's going on. And WhiteRa trying to run, but you know what? These mutas are definitely going to be able to take... Oh! Never mind. Those mutas definitely going to be taking out that Warp Prism. Warp Prism not going to be able to do a whole lot. But in the front, we do have WhiteRa coming in, starting to attack that creep. And again, these guys are a little out of place here. No blink on the Stalkers as of yet. Bringing them in the front though, but bringing him back again. I don't know if this is a good placement here. WhiteRa, of course, having his Stalkers behind the Colossi, not the very best placement, but will he be able to take down those mutas? That's the big question. As level 1 flying attack about 3/4 done, it's not going to really help in this battle, but it looks like the muta's doing a really great job taking out these Stalkers. And the Stalkers, of course, out of +1, but it doesn't look like a very good, Yeah, WhiteRa, of course, is GGing. Well played to Stephano. So the game is now tied up 1-1 for both players here at MLG. We'll see how they go with game number 3 and who's going to win this best of 3. It could be anybody's game right now. You know, WhiteRa just not playing up to the caliber of his first game, and Stephano being able to come back after you know, being forced to kind of hold off on this expansion, just fast expanding on a 3rd, and being able to catch back up. And of course, WhiteRa now, of course, going for his second expand as well, but it was a little too late, I think. WhiteRa and Stephano, game 3 coming up. Make sure to check it out. Take care.